stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part one of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. I hope, indeed I pray, that we shall not be found unworthy of our victory, if after toil and tribulation it is granted to us. For the rest, we have to gain the victory. That is our task. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty, and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its commonwealths last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
We shall not fail or falter, we shall not weaken or tire. Neither the sudden shock of battle nor the long-drawn trials of vigilance and exertion will wear us down. Give us the tools, and we will finish the job.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
We're not just coming down the road, we're coming across the airways. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the English Defence League radio show, broadcasting live on blogtalkradio.com. The English Defence League radio show, the truth and the voice of the EDL. Welcome to the English Defence League. This is English Defence League radio show. Time to reclaim our veterans' gift. There you go. Welcome to the English Defence League radio show with your host, Jeff Spider Mitchell. And my panellists this evening are Jan the Tornado Rennie and Dave Agador Milne. I'm not sure whether Jan can make it or not, but if she can, she normally turns up around about 9 o'clock before she goes to work. So, continue with Dave Agador Milne. Tonight, We shall be talking about the veterans gathering in London this weekend to make it clear to those treacherous rats in power that what they are doing to men who serve their country with honour and bravery, and I'll also say with dignity, will not be tolerated. The message will be that they cannot and will not prosecute and persecute veterans of the Easter Sunday Treaty. Nothing short of betrayal and cowardice in the face of the enemy. Shame on them for what they are putting these men through. Invertebrates who never served are pushing our descent into hell, and they're doing it on the backs of those who kept their freedom of self-rule in the first place. In this year of the Patriots, we stand with our veterans and as our one people. United, we say to the PC parasites, your time is done. Get with the programme and support our veterans first, or get out. No surrender, ever, ever. And also, like I say, because we had such a little script there, I'll go on to say, all that is necessary for evil to prevail is that good men do nothing. And that was by Edmund Burke, the late, great Edmund Burke. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. And that was by the late, great President John F. Kennedy. And without further ado, let me bring the gentleman on this evening. No, not President John F. Kennedy. That would be a miracle if I did that. No, we have someone with just as a great a gentleman, my friend, my colleague, an awesome gentleman. Let me introduce you to the one, the only, Mr. Dave Agador Milner. As he comes in, he's grabbed an handful of biscuits, he's grabbed something else, and he's just taken a seat. Good evening, Dave. I hope you're well, my friend.
Good evening to you, Jeff. Good evening to our brothers and sisters in the UK, and good afternoon to our friends in the United States of America. Hello to everybody around the world, and, of course, off Earth. Yeah, Jeff, we have got a pretty big show going on today. We're going to be talking about, of course, that, as the script says, that gathering in London that is going to be taking place from the veterans. I've got a little thing here. If you want to read this one, it's off of tr.news. I'm going to hand it to you. And a little bit later, guys, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be kind of, in a way looking at a crystal ball, but in a way not looking at it, because there was the times that we're living in, where our veterans, for instance, can be treated the way they are and such, were foretold in more than a few places, and we're going to show proof of that later on in the show, and it's going to be pretty eye-opening, guys. And we're going to talk a bit about that and some other stuff. But Jeff, when you're ready, when you get that in your Skype, folks, if you want to go looking for this here, this is from tr.news, all right? And this was put out on the 25th of June. Headline on it is The Disposable Soldier and the Rise of the People. And, Jeff, this isn't a very long one. I know you might like to read this one. If you would, it's ready.
I'd love to, Dave. Just as we promised, this is your chance to be heard. Your voice, your views, your stories matter to us. You should not be silenced. All of us here at TR News have provided you with the platform, your very own, we the people. If you want to contribute to the article to be considered for publication, whether that be something about politics, culture, art, news, or even a personal story, get in touch with us, and that's TR News, by emailing writers at tr.news. So just just a little bit of a thing if you want to get in touch at all. And okay, this is a contribution from AK. The tragedy of 30th of January 1972. Bear with me a minute, folks.
Sure.
famously known as Bloody Sunday, has left a formidable imprint on the consciousness of Northern Ireland. The killing of 14 people who were marching against internment, imprisonment without trial, and later found to be unarmed by British soldiers, has been the subject of 2 inquiries, years of reviews by the Public Prosecution Service, and has now led to 1 soldier identified as Soldier F, charged with 2 murders and attempted murder of 4 others. Let me continue. Despite the slaughter of defenceless adolescent boys and men, I cannot shake the feeling of the involved soldiers being persecuted instead of merely prosecuted. I have this internal debate, a moral conundrum. Defenceless people protesting for civil rights versus soldiers acting on trained instinct while carrying out their duty. Yet somehow the normal them versus us, good versus bad reasoning doesn't make sense of this bloodshed. I've come to realise there can be no justice for those involved in Bloody Sunday. Like so many other casualties of war or civil unrest, the devastating loss of life is a byproduct of the hostile environment the soldiers and marchers found themselves in. It does not sound nice or fair, but it is the truth. 2 inquiries into this dark day have resulted in contrasting summaries. The Widgery Tribunal concluded and the soldiers returned fire, and while their actions borderlined on reckless, they acted within their duties. The Saville Report, the most protracted and most expensive inquiry in British history, concluded the soldiers opened fire due to loss of self-control and recommended prosecution to be considered for numerous soldiers. Surely these stark differences are a reflection that the pursuit of justice cannot be achieved but only manufactured depending upon the political environment of the day. Let me read down, go down a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen. It is not for the differences of political environments and the incessant need to find a scapegoat. How can one explain how 12 years of fact-finding increases the reliability of information, 30 to 40 years old, and the testimony somehow be more accurate than given while memories were fresh? And it is fair and reasonable to examine the actions of soldiers A to F in minute detail. For 12 years, when the soldiers themselves, in danger, only had a split second to decide, is it fair to scrutinise the behaviour of others when the climate of the troubles can no longer be felt but only remembered? Moreover, I cannot shake the feeling that this is a dangerous precedent being set. Our armed forces, the backbone of security for our great nation, is being diminished before our very eyes. For if we do not support the trained instinct of our armed forces, the necessity to make the split-second decision in highly volatile situations to preserve life, we are then asking for a defence force that hesitate in combat. Has to be talked about as well, Dave. The most strong and loyal of men and women make the decision to serve the Queen and country. Yes, the endless review of Bloody Sunday by the same government that imposed internment, outlawed marches and gave the soldiers their orders on Bloody Sunday has resonated heavily in the hearts and minds of both current and former members of the British Armed Forces. This apparent persecution signals that loyalty is one way and each soldier is disposable. Think of that, ladies and gentlemen. Disposable. That's what they think of our soldiers. Many veterans experience post-traumatic stress disorder due to the trauma they experienced serving our nation, and experience high rates of suicide, substance abuse, family breakdown, and homelessness, which we see all the time, compared to the general population for serving our nation and sacrificing their very spirits. If not their lives, the British government will now hang them out to dry. This is a sad state of affairs, but not one to be taken lying down. Tens of thousands of veterans and civilians are joining forces to denounce the persecution of Her Majesty's Armed Forces and the disposable soldieress. The Great Gathering, as it has been coined, will bring London to a standstill on 29th of June 2019 and beyond, until common sense prevails and loyalty is restored. It is more than a protest. It is an announcement to the British government that the men and women who lost their lives for our nation, who had their spirits broken, will not be pawns to whatever supposed political game is being played. In a world of increased military activity and terrorism, a nation must be backed by a powerful defence force. It is time to support those who have dedicated their lives to protecting us, lest we forget. Note, further information on the Great Gathering and the plight of the disposable soldiers can be found on the YouTube channel Who Dares Wins. Please check that out, guys. Or Facebook event, The Great Gathering, Justice for Our Veterans. So, without further ado, let me pass this back to Dave. Your thoughts of that article? Wow, pretty powerful, Dave.
Amazing stuff, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, first of all, that the underlying incident itself reminds me of something that happened here in the States. And no, this is not the same. So I don't want to hear anybody, it's the same. No, it's not the same. But it reminds me of something that the lefties just went crazy about when it happened. And this was on May the 4th, 1970, when members of the Ohio National Guard shot and killed 4 students at Kent State University. Basically what happened at that point, the National Guardsmen were, of course, called child killers and all this nonsense, but they were following orders, and what happened was that the protesters were squeezed. They were basically kettled into a small area, and where did they kind of plop out? That the only direction they could go was in the direction of the National Guard, and they were not friendly. They weren't armed or anything like that, But as you know, Jeff, having been at demos yourself, you don't have to be armed with guns in order to provoke an armed response. So this reminds me a bit of that. But I'll also say that this is going to be massive, and hopefully, guys, we'll have something on Sunday from some of this stuff. Maybe a few reports or something like that. We really want to bring this, because we can imagine, Jeff, you know this, that the fake stream media in the UK is not going to report this fairly. All right, we already know this. So we're going to try and be on this and give you guys, something that will be a little bit more skewed. And yeah, we skew things because we're patriots. We support our veterans. We support our American veterans. I do, and of course UK veterans. And that's the thing. So we're going to do what we can. Jeff, I want to read you a little bit of an article I found just before the show, man. And this, again, guys, if you want to go looking for it, this is Farm Fresh here. This was updated updated today. Okay, and this is from the Daily Mail. And this is just in a way this is just disgusting. Okay, now here's a headline: Jeremy Hunt. Now that's the guy. That's one of the guys that's competing with Bobo the Clown to be leader of the Tories. Now get this, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Hunt is blasted after saying British veterans should be treated in the same way as the IRA in Hustings chat about the troubles in Northern Ireland. Now that's the headline. I'm going to read the three subheads here. The first one, Mr. Hunt said that the peace in Northern Ireland was hard won at digital husting. So this is obviously some kind of online thing, guys. Now the second one, the Tory James Heapery said the comment was unforgivable. And here's the last one, guys, the last subhead here. Ex-soldier said there was no equivalence between IRA terrorists and UK troops. I'm going to scroll down a bit on this, guys. But Jeff, you can see here from this. This is how the politicians think of
biased.
people like
they're
that.
totally biased and anti-military. That's
complete.
it.
Yeah, absolutely, completely anti-military. Now, let me read. I'm not going to read all this, guys, because as is true with a lot of Daily Mail articles, this one's pretty long. But I'm going to read the first bits of it. Okay, we'll see. Okay, Jeremy Hunt has been blasted after saying British Army veterans who served in Northern Ireland should be treated in the same way as Republican terrorists. The leadership outsider made the remarks in digital hustings where he took question from great writing, made Daily Mail, from party members and the public. The issue of prosecution of former soldiers is a hot topic with many who in the hell wrote this? With many MP unhappy at plans to push ahead with a new team to re-examine the conduct of troops during the Troubles. My God. Okay. Speaking online, Mr. Hunt said, the main thing, and I want to be honest about this, it'll be a surprise, the peace in Northern Ireland. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But
the peace in Northern Ireland.
Guys.
Yeah, exactly. Was hard won, and under the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, there is a needed to treat both sides in the same way. However angry we may have felt about what happened. Well, talk about putting your foot in it. Let's see. This prompted uproar, including from fellow Tories, who are, as we all know, in quite a bit of trouble right now. James Heapery, the Wells MP and a former British Army officer who served in Northern Ireland, who said the comment was unforgivable. They probably wanted to punch him in the nose. There is no equivalence between IRA terrorists.
A feather, Dave. Hunt should be offered a white feather for the cowardice of what they treated our veterans with. That's what he should have been handed. I would have given him a white. If I'd have been a veteran, I'd say, there you go, especially for you. Dave, please continue. Sorry, mate.
All right. Well, I'm just going to give one more quote here. Hunt is let's see, there is no equivalence between IRA terrorists and members of our armed forces, he said. Now, that's it for that article, guys. If you want, you can go and you can look for that one and find it and finish up reading it. But Jeff, that's just disgusting, man. I mean, and this guy wants to be the MP. He wants to be the Prime Minister, or excuse me, PM. He wants to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, man.
He's got no chance.
And for him to say that about veterans, look, okay, I don't care if Bobo the Clown, tooted some blow. I'm not too happy about infidelity, Jeff, as you know. But quite honestly, I would be ready to forgive that, other than just saying that veterans, Army veterans, or any other regular military veterans should be treated the same as terrorists. That's bogus, man.
Yeah, well, it goes to show you, Dave. Did you want to continue that? I want to make a couple of comments in a second.
No, go ahead, man. Well, you know what, Jeff, go ahead and make your comment, and then what I want to do, I want to go ahead and then play the SHR Media promos, and then we'll swing into the next part of the show. So, Jeff, please go right ahead, and then we'll hit the SHR Media promos. Does that sound good?
Well, when he equates the British military with IRA, terrorist thugs. Now, that is the worst thing. Really and truthfully, he's talking like the military, the best serving. Some of our guys are the best serving in the world. We've always said that, to treat them. It's just like they're just, civilians, the way that civilians are treated. Because that's the way they're treating our military, no different than they treat us because we're patriots. It's no different than what they're treating them and trying to persecute. 77 guys, he hasn't got long to live, Soldier F. He's got all sorts of issues. He's dying, and they still want to prosecute and persecute this old gentleman. Just goes to show you what this government is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever part of the world you might come from, just think about that. Think of the way, the betrayal. It was a betrayal. The Bloody Sunday treaty was nothing more than a compromise in the face of the enemy. They basically, a treaty is they capitulated and they said, look, we'll make concessions with the RA, any of your RA. They did as well. They got apology letters. The RA got apology letters. But what they do into our army, this is all part of the agreement that they would prosecute our army, and leave them, the RA, out of it. That is why you're seeing this case, because they told they would do it, and they basically have betrayed the people that they sent to Northern Ireland to sort the troubles out. They betrayed the men who went out there, who put their lives on the line, and quite a lot of them lost their lives in horrible fashion as well. So I'd just like to say that this government is probably and especially that Jeremy Hunt, whatever his name is, dickhead, what are you doing serving as something to do with trying to be a Prime Minister? I won't put you in charge of the public toilet, mate. You are a muppet. You're a muppet like the rest of them. No, my goodness me. And they want to run our country. Just believe it, this geezer would be in charge of nuclear weapons if he got a prime minister. If he got the prime ministership. Can you imagine it, Dave? Oh my God. No, it's talk about the blind leading the blind. Excuse me, I don't know, Dave, but I mean, it's the way they do this. The government, the way they walk in towards oblivion. I'm all right, Jack. I'm serving, the elitists and the globalists out there, and it is. It's like they don't really care, do they? They don't care about serving men and women, do they? They don't care about any of us, really. And making that point, it's quite obvious that people around the world look in and go, my goodness me, I know things has deteriorated, but I didn't realise it is as bad as this. But it is, Dave, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's like
it
film,
is.
brother, and it's a disgusting state of affairs. I've never thought. I just think it's like from one catastrophe into another one, isn't it, Dave? You know what I'm saying? And of course, anything to appease the enemy, the death cult is that. Anything to appease them and the enemy. And I'll still say Jeremy Corbyn was a commander with the RA. I'll still say it. And anybody wants to prove me wrong, do it. Phone in. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I still believe he was a commander of the RA. He was a part of it. Maybe a sleeping part. He played a big part of it. Take it from me. He's a traitor of the highest kind, and should be hung from the highest gallows going. That's the way I look at him. He wants to be Prime Minister as well. He'd do anything.
Oh, yeah, he would.
He's sold it twice.
Oh, of course he would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course he would. Well, Jeff, before I hit the SHR Media promos, I just want to say something. It is ridiculous at this point to keep trying to retry this issue. We have a TV show over here in the States called The First 48. Now, what that means is this basically comes from detectives in our city police departments over here. And what the detectives say is you get the best information on a crime, which they're trying this as a crime, which they shouldn't. But the detectives say you get the best information on a crime in the first 48 hours after it happens. After that, memories begin to fade. Things begin, facts begin to deteriorate. They took 12 years for this mess. Anybody with any, oh my God, anybody that even watches, Law and Order shows or true crime shows or stuff like that on TV knows this is completely. It's all to do, Jeff, with political correctness, and it's disgusting. And I say, God bless those veterans, and guys, we will do what we can to bring you coverage of some of that come Sunday. But right now, Jeff, the English Defense League radio show is associated with SHR Media, and there's some great shows on SHR Media. And Jeff, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and play our promos right now. About 3.5 minutes.
No, go ahead, Dave. Pretty cool.
All right, guys. This is the English Defense League radio show. I'm going to play some of these SHR Media promos, and then we're going to come back and swing into the next part of the program. Here we go, guys.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 2. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini.